growing. These are velvet monkeys, I think
Okay. Good. These are the
What's the name?
Lovemore.
Lovemore.
Like Lovemore Sabandi from the South African radio show.
Wow. And this type of tree here, we call the candelabra cactus. It was mostly planted on higher grounds because they believe that it was a lightning conductor. If you cut it, it actually oozes in a white substance, milky substance, which is very poisonous. But actually rhinoceros feed on them. I mean, they say if you, after eating this tree, they can sleep for 3-4 days, get drunk. It will be very vicious. If you came across it, you'll be in trouble. Very vicious.
Hallucinogenic.
If you happen to be celebratories, like I mentioned, they've made you run using the terrace path, which is very steep. By the time you'll be right at the top, you'll be exhausted.
Right.
You take advantage. And also, they actually will be assessing your movements. As you run, if you are a very trained warrior, they'll see that, oh, this guy is making up the top so easily. So you have to watch him. You never know, maybe he's a good warrior. Then they'll be alert. But if you find on the way, they say, oh, this maybe is just innocent man who's just coming to see the king, pay tribute or whatever. You see now. So for today, you don't have to run. Access granted. You've gained my confidence. You can proceed. Ancient kings were unlike the modern ones.
Yeah.
They were very good warriors themselves. In case of a war, they will be in the front of the battle.
Right.
Hence this saying that a group of lions being led by a sheep is less dangerous than a group of sheep being led by a lion. So the king was metaphorically the lion, king of the jungle. Right. He'll be in the front and be inspiring all the people. Let's go, move on. Nobody will not go backslide because the king will be in front. I'm sure I promise you burn some calories today.
Oh God, yeah.
Some nicotine coming up. Get some nicotine out, bud. Get out my shot.
So far, zip.
Granted, our stuff is very slippery. You must risk going in the passage. And this part of the wall here was complete. So during the collapse of that wall, that's why all this wall was affected and they collapsed also. Alright, if you look around here, you see there are a lot of granite outcrops. That's where they're getting the stones. Carrying you all the way up to the top. It's very strenuous work. Down there was a perennial stream which didn't dry up throughout the year. Just flowed and flowed. So as we go down, we're going to use the Watergate path where the women were having their training, or the girls were having their initial school in the granite enclosure. Yeah. It was part of their duties to carry water of the king. Carrying all the hairs in those clay pots all the way up the hill. This is the biggest enclosure here in the hill, known as the royal enclosure. That's where the king was residing. Here at Great Zimbabwe, we have about 3 types of walling. We do have walls with buttresses, like these ones, with support, so that they're actually on the slope. Down the valley, we do have freestanding walls, where the base is broader and getting thinner and thinner towards the top so that it balances, because they didn't use any mortar or any cement. Here as cross beams, unlike the great enclosure, they use dolerite stone as cross beams. That's why it will withstand the test of time. And the thickness of the wall at the base is about 4.5 meters. This is an original remain of a hut floor. That was given around 1902 by archaeologists. At the middle is a fireplace, a bench. Those are small clay pot holders. Maybe on a cold winter, the king would like this. When you say with fire, sitting on the bench, a clay pot full of beer on the side, Sorghum beer. Actually, he was feasting himself on. They're doing communal farming. So after harvest, they will store those grain in those basins, grain basin. But this was just symbolic, symbolizing that the king had potential to feed his people.
Oh, okay.
Yes, his own farm, and they will keep this food reserved for reserves in case of a drought. They will be feeding the people, supplying the feed, or the underprivileged members. A king was also metaphorically referred as a bull. So those 2 monoliths, they stand like bull's horns to symbolize that the king had potential to defend his people. like a powerful bull is all the authority.
Okay.
Yes, so it's a lot of symbolism. This was a form of writing. Alright, this small enclosure here originally was about that high. It was all enclosed. This was known as the Royal Cave. During the day when it's very hot, it's very cool inside here. Very cool. Third purpose of this cave was used for communicating purposes. There's another point where you communicate more effectively with the people down there other than from this cave. If you shout from the monitoring point where you've gone, it's not effective because all the voice will be blown out with the wind. Naturally, this is shaped like a megaphone. So if you shout from here, all the voice is driven that side. Since the king had many wives, in case I was one of the guards and say, Lovemore, I want you to call for me wife number 196. Then I'll come here and I'll shout. I will say, oh yes, king, I'm going. Come here. Normally you use the good one, the vuvuzela. Come here. Then as the wife's here, then come. So I want to shout at the top of my voice and listen carefully. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Right at the top of that tree, big tree called a rock splitter. It have got some powerful roots which can split up rocks. Very powerful. Numerous of the kings were trained to use the bark of the same tree. They take the bark, crush it, dry it up, crush it to powder. After, when they're serving the king the relish, they'll put some powder, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons. Once the king had that meal, it was said that you'd have power like the rock splitter. You could have more than 15 wives in one night.
Wow.
Jordan, fetch me some of that bark.
Yes, this is Zimbabwe. Goes like that. Here's a chevron pattern, and the crocodile's caved here. Remember the bed we've seen in the museum?
Right.
Yes, sure. Right, all the beds after the king died, they were placed here. So 6 of them were found here. This is a really religious room. That's it about their temple or the ritual enclosure, we call it. The king himself will be right at the top of that boulder. We call that a bed swing or the king's balcony. Checking out this view from here, that's the wing. This is the wing going up. That's the neck. At the end is the beak. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Go down the neck, and that portion is the chest. So we have another immobile Zimbabwe there. Okay. The king, since the king were all those animal skins, I think you've seen them on those models.
Right.
He'll be that side, so he'll not be safe, you know.
Did they make that
So
like
they
that?
made a modest wall so that the king will be safe, completely seeing that side. Yes, the immediate members will be on these tapes. In that bed, the battle egg up was said to appear during the process of the rituals here. Then after the rituals, it was seen hovering just being in the sky.
Maybe not. There's just no shot.
If you look at the bricks, they are very much in regular shape. And with that pattern, the chevron pattern.
See that?
Yeah. At the top we have so smaller monoliths which are shorter than the ones you've seen at the hill complex. This forms a nice parallel passage.
Sick. tripping. Wicked.
Originally it was about 60 meters high and just a little flat at the top. On either side there were two smaller ones. This one is still intact and the other one was this side.
Should make a beautiful picture there,